All right, everybody. Welcome to our Tuesday team call. I have my Hanalei shirt on in honor of my wife, who is in Maui now, or not Maui, Waikiki. And I am not, although I wish I was. But she needed a little bit of time to go peace out in the islands, and knew that ski season is rapidly approaching, which is when I go peace out in the mountains. So we all have to recharge our batteries. I'm pretty frazzled from last weekend. For those of you who didn't get to attend the Diamond event, I think it was really it's kind of one of those moments where you turn a corner, where you have a breakthrough, you step your game up, or whatever it is that you want to call it. I think it's the best thing we've ever done. Pretty flawless execution, thanks to some outstanding people who helped us, through certainly no work of mine. I'm horrible at event planning, and thankfully we found some people who are really good at it, including our assistant Janet, and it was awesome. I mean, it was just a great event. I'm pretty bushed. I poured everything I had into pretty much every moment that I had, and I think part of that relates to what I want to talk about tonight, and how maybe I think I can help you gain some perspective. I kind of posted in the group tonight that I had some advice that I felt like would help you, over the long term of your business, and not just, here in October. October's important, don't get me wrong. And, if I did everything corporate told me I would get you to focus exclusively on October and the Fall Classic and making Success Club this month, and, what's happening right now. And I'm just going to tell you that based on results, based on the way I've operated over the last, I'll tell you in a minute, couple years, at least 3 years now. This time, actually, it's really 4. That's really back to 2010. This time of year is slow. It just is. That's just, this is like the farmer trying to plant seeds at this time of year and thinking, oh, that's so super, I'll plant now and the crops will come up extra early. That's just not the way things are, and when I was at Bo Eason's seminar, one thing he kept saying over and over and over again is the only way to command Mother Nature is to obey her. And that's true. And we can try, and we should try, and you should make Success Club this month. I'm not telling you to, hey, pack it up and don't make Success Club this month. That's not what I'm telling you. What I am telling you is this. Over the past several years, I have recognized that right now is the slowest time of year of our business. Really, it's the time between Halloween and Thanksgiving, okay? It takes Thanksgiving coming and going for people to have sufficiently purged themselves and binged on chow and feel like crap to wake up and start to pay attention. And then we'll get Christmas, and then we'll have Insanity Max 30, and that will drive sales, and we'll just kick right back into mode. Okay, I'm telling you, we will. Because it's happened every year. It's happened every year. That is why Monica is in Hawaii for 10 days. That is why this is normally the time of year when I take on big projects, okay? Not projects that are gonna take me a week to complete, not projects that are gonna take me a month. Well, a month. It's like a month-long project, Something like the FCNCoachTraining.com. Something like the program that I rolled out to everybody at the Diamond Retreat, which I'm not really going to get into. I'll be, it's an email marketing program. I'm going to share it with a wider group of people, just not quite yet. You got to give me a couple of weeks on that one, and I'll roll it out on the call, and I'll introduce it, and we'll do it right. Stuff like that. This is the time of year to work on that type of stuff, because it's just a tough time of year for our business. I mean, you just have to think about it, and every business has slow periods and busy periods. Think about being a CPA. If you're an accountant, as we approach April, those people are nuts. If you know one, if you have one, they're insane. We have that time in our business. It's Christmas, New Year's, the time right after the Super Bowl, and then right after the March Madness tournament. Those timings, and then again, usually after Summit. those times of year, things are insane. You don't have time then to build a big new thing, okay? You don't have time then to go and do a week-long personal development seminar. You have that time now. And I'm just gonna suggest that that's what you focus on right now. That's my focus now, okay? I'll tell you, where I've been and what I'm working on. So we finished this email marketing thing. I told you I would offer that up to you guys later. We need to get some of the leaders on board with it and roll that out. I've been spending a lot of time doing that, okay? The next thing I'm really focused on is we're doing an event in Dallas. I'm going to do an event in Dallas with Jimmy Hayes Nelson. It's going to be an event that is really targeted towards men. And that's not because I think women are somehow unimportant in this business. It's really because the evolution of our business over the last several years, I think, lends itself to women and is largely been driven by women. And so there are so many role models for women in this business right now that it makes it very easy for them to, if they will apply themselves. There are plenty of people to kind of follow and model and do what they're doing. And right now, I think there's a gap in leadership for men. And Jimmy and I and a small group of other guys who are leaders in the company really believe that we need to be doing more in order to really build this business in a way that a guy is going to really identify with. And honestly, just getting into this a little bit, I think sometimes people hear me talk about these things and they somehow think like, oh, you think men are better than women or something like that. No, men are not better than women. Women are not better than men. We're different. We're just fundamentally different creatures. We think differently. We act differently. We watch different things on TV. We do things, different activities, and we think and relate differently. And so what we're talking about doing is really something that's more geared towards men. This is the only feasible time of year for me that I would possibly have enough time to pour any energy into a leadership, Beachbody's leadership retreat, okay? Then our leadership retreat, and then organizing something that'll probably be in early February. We're negotiating with venues now, so once I have it, I'll let you know. But that'll probably be in early February. Women will be welcome, and here's a hint: bring your husband, boyfriend, significant other, whatever. See if you can get that person to the event, because the way that I speak to them is going to be very different than a way some of the female leaders who they're going to hear on the national call speak to them. A lot of times men don't relate to that, okay? And when you're me and you're really receptive to the message, you're not so concerned about the messenger, okay? But when you're new and you're looking for somebody and you're asking these questions of, do I want to be like this person and can I do what they do? And sometimes there are people that get put in front of you who you simply say, yeah, maybe I do want to be like them, but maybe I don't. Maybe I don't want to wear high heels. I'm not really interested in them, to be honest with you, or whatever, or skimpy workout clothing or whatever it is. I think as a guy, we kind of look at that and go, if I really wanted to be that way, it's not really. No one's going to care. It's not going to work for me. And can I do what they do? And sometimes I think that there are things that women can do that work for them that don't work for men. And there are things that work for men that wouldn't work for women. Those are the things we're looking to communicate and collaborate on. And so as we approach that event, I guess my point in just telling you all this is to prime you a little bit for that and get you guys, hopefully to Dallas. I mean, I'd love for as many of you to be there as can go. I want a little, Fit Club Networking Union in Dallas. It would be awesome. But also just to kind of let you know that where I'm at and why I'm doing that now. I'm doing it now because this is the only time of year I can really do it, because business is slow, okay? New business is slow. Look, I generate a lot of leads, okay? You guys watch me, I'm on almost every social network that matters. I've got, multiple campaigns. I've got a blog. I've got a lot of different ways to generate leads. I have 8 Success Club points. I'm pretty happy with that for this month. I really am, because this is when things get slow. A lot of that is due to the new product release, which I really took the time with and really have focused on, and I've really, been pushing for that P90 release. In fact, I think, gosh, maybe I've got 1 or 2 like Shakeology HD orders, but the other ones are challenge packs, and they're P90 challenge packs, because I got people excited about that product, and we had people who were a really good fit for it, and we plugged them, right into it. and that's gone pretty well. But I guess what I'm just telling you is that there are easy times to be a coach and hard times to be a coach if what we do is we view coaching in some sort of a box of, here's what we do as coaches, and we're in this little box, and all we do is make Success Club. If that's what you think coaching is, that's playing checkers, okay? I want you guys playing chess. I want you thinking annually. That can be really hard because I know the message you're being slammed with is that now, make it now, do it now, make Success Club, do this thing. And I want to encourage you guys to keep doing that. I'm not trying to tell you don't do that. What I'm really trying to tell you is if there's something new you want to take on, now is the time. Don't wait for January. It's too late. I don't know if you've ever heard the saying, but when opportunity knocks, it's way too late to start to prepare. Way too late. That's what happens for most people. They get wrapped up in what's happening now, okay? And they can't think, I'm going to be 3 times this busy in January. I better have some systems in place. I better get ready. I better make sure that if being on a certain social network, whether it's Instagram or Pinterest or Google Plus or starting a Facebook like page or starting a blog or maybe taking on something like email marketing, if that's something that you think you might be good at, or starting a YouTube channel, now is the time to do that. And don't just throw it up there. Go and learn about it. You can find so much information online about how to do this stuff. There are big picture items we all need to be doing. And I tell you, I started off at the top with telling you what I was working on now so that you would understand that I take this very seriously, okay? Really started for me in 2010. 2010, I went to a 7-day seminar up in the mountains where I gave them my phone. Gave them my phone. My wife had an emergency contact number, okay? So it wasn't like I was, not able to be reached, but I gave up my phone willingly. And it was great. It was a great week by myself and my own, noggin. Well, I was with a bunch of other people too, but, that was when it really started for me. And that's when I figured out, wow, and that was kind of by accident really, but I figured out, wow, this is the time when you really take stuff on because it's going to be a little bit slower. And we all need this time to either, recharge your batteries if that's what you got to do. Okay. Monica's in Hawaii for 10 days because she knows that, after this, here comes Thanksgiving. That's a lot of family obligations. And sometimes we host Thanksgiving. We haven't decided this year, but that's a lot of work. And then there'll be Christmas. And then after Christmas, we get into the busiest time of year, which is when, guess what happens? I go skiing. Okay, I am a skier, and that's what I'm committed to doing. And even though it's the busiest time of year, that's when there's snow in the mountains. So I'm going to go off skiing. Well, what that means for me is that I better have whatever I need in place now. I can't be preparing for an early February seminar in late January because I have a ski trip planned. We're going to go to Breckenridge with Jimmy and Mike and Josh Spencer and a whole bunch of coaches. It needs to happen now. And now is when I have the time. Okay, so that's really what I want to impress on you. Just take the cyclical nature of things and look at how it works. This is really hard if you're newer into this business because you haven't seen this play out. So I want to just give it to you. I've talked about it a couple of times, but I think it's really important that we understand how all these things work. So the cycle, ramps up major January 1st. I mean, it's just the New Year's resolution crowd. The New Year's resolution crowd tends to, I'm just going to have a little coffee here. When I say I'm exhausted from this retreat, I mean, I'm like completely zapped, but I want to do this call because I think this point is really important. And I was talking with somebody else about it today, and I need to get this information to you guys. So January 1st, the New Year's resolution crowd tends to be not very serious. They will come across hot and heavy and serious, and they will buy stuff that they're serious about. They will absolutely invest some money in whatever it is that we've got to offer, okay? That's going to happen. A lot of them are going to get Insanity Max 30. A lot of them don't engage. They engage when the Super Bowl is over. So when the Super Bowl is over, we tend to have this kind of time where we definitely make a lot of sales and there's a lot going on and things are crazy. January, February, always really, really strong. But you'll get those people who you got into a challenge group or started off or whatever it is that you're kind of doing in January. They don't fully engage until February when the Super Bowl is over, so do not give up on them. Stick around with them. We also get a lot of people who kind of start and flounder. They don't get a challenge pack. Instead, they just buy a fitness program. They kind of struggle and flounder and, you know, flop around for a while because they're just not fully committed. Then in February, they start to think, okay, I need to change my nutrition. I should have probably got the challenge pack, but let me just up to Shakeology now. Let me just order Shakeology now, and I'll really get started. Now I'll spend some money, I'll get really invested, and I'll actually start. That happens a lot. February is therefore very, very busy. March is the same thing. When we get a little slowdown is spring break and the basketball tournament. The NCAA tournament tends to, things tend to slow down a little bit there. We also have our annual Success Club trip to Cancun planned during that time. Things sometimes slow down there, usually not though. That one's usually one of those ones where I'm on a cruise and I better set an autoresponder letting everybody know where I'm at, and then I'll only be checking emails every couple days or wherever it is that we're going to be. That tends to be still a very busy time because that's when people shift from New Year's resolution people to summer resolution people, and maybe they didn't get ready for spring break like they really wanted to. Now they're going to get ready for summer, and we get a whole new crop of really, really serious people, and that carries us through into Summit. You know, and that growth in the first and second quarters, and when I say carries us through into Summit, I mean you got enough people who are stuffed into your pipeline that you can just constantly be recruiting coaches if you're being really consistent in the behavior of getting people into your groups and connecting with them and helping them, getting them results. If you can be consistent with that, you develop a pipeline full of people, and they just come as they come. And I mean, it's easy. It's just when it's easy. Okay. It tends to be very consistent and very easy, if I'm going to use that term. I don't know. I always like to say what we do is simple and not necessarily easy. So maybe I'm overstating that. Relatively easy. Let's put it that way. Relatively easy. I still think you always got to work. But then Summit, we always have a big bump coming out of Summit because there's new products released. That's what happens, you know, and the coach community eats them up. And because of that, there's lots of, you know, buzz created around them and people buy them. And so we have a big bump that comes out of Summit. Then we start to get into summer. You usually have, you know, prospects and people that come out of the, sorry, I just got a text message from my daughter. Anyway, no problem. I'm right here with you. Anyway, so coming out of Summit, we usually have enough prospects and customers and stuff. That dwindles now. Okay, we usually also have a little bit of a boost when school gets back into session. People's lives return to normal, and you know, a lot of people are stay-at-home moms, and once their kids go back to school, they have all day to kind of be around and, you know, do the things that moms do for sure, but they have a lot of extra time when the kids get back into school, and it's just back in routine. I think everybody is more comfortable when they're in a routine. Even the people who love, you know, being crazy and having fun, they love a routine. Everybody likes to sleep in their own bed and, you know, wake up and, you know, stand in front of their own mirror and brush their teeth and do all that stuff. It's just part of what makes people comfortable, you know, and so that happens when school comes back and we pick up. That doesn't last as long as any of those other events that I told you, and that's why we hit this lull. That and a cultural and a cultural community consciousness shift to stuffing your face full of crap. That's just the truth, right? In January, we have this cultural community consciousness shift towards being healthy. And same in February, same pretty much in March too. That's what's going on. Right now, there's a cultural community shift that goes in the opposite direction. Watch commercials, guys. Pay attention. If you watch TV, keep an eye on the commercials that you start to see. Way more candy, way more alcohol, way more everything that is not sort of good with you, because those people are on the opposite side of the coin from us. And guess what this is? Right now is their January 1st. This is the time when those people who are selling the opposite thing from what we're selling win. Am I happy with that? No. But the only way to command Mother Nature is to obey her, and that is just the way it is now. I'm trying to change it, okay? And I'm not saying we give up. What I'm saying is that when we get in this period from, you know, now, pretty much now, okay, until Thanksgiving, it's going to be slow. So if you're struggling to make Success Club in October and November, I get it. Don't give up. You should be making Success Club. You should not, however, be banging your head against the wall, pounding, trying to get more and more Success Club points once you've made it. Instead, what I'm going to suggest you spend your time on, and if corporate wants to talk with me about that, I'm fine, because they don't do what we do. I do what we do, and I've done it for a long time, and I know what the hell I'm talking about. This is the time that you take and you spend working on long-term projects. And I don't know what that means exactly for you or your team, but this is the time to get on those new social networks. This is the time to learn about marketing. This is the time, if you got something that's in your head that you think, man, I need to learn about that, this is the time to learn about that. Every year since 2010, when I went to that seminar and realized this is the slow time of year, I've either done, or I've done both some years, some massive form of training and a project, or some massive form of training and a big personal development, weekend, etc., and or all three. That's what's happening this year. I've been Bo Eason. I just got done with Bo Eason, who's unbelievable. I had our leadership retreat, and I rolled out a huge new email marketing campaign, which again, I will get to you guys in the later. Why? Well, I do it now because that's the only time I can do it without driving myself completely insane, because in the busy times of year, I'm going to be working with my customers, because there's more than you can't beat them off with a stick if you're doing what you need to do, okay? So I'm just encouraging you to do that. Then after Thanksgiving, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, there's a certain number of people who just the light bulb just goes bing, and it just pops on for them. And they start to think, wow, I really do need to I'm out of control. Like that, I think that's the overarching feeling. Having been through that a couple times myself, I know that that's how I feel. Like I'll come back home from Thanksgiving and it's like, okay, that can't continue. I gotta get this under control before, all the Christmas parties and everything kicks in, and then I really spiral out of control and have to wait until January. There'll be a certain number of people who wake up right after Thanksgiving, and you gotta be there and be ready to capitalize on that. And then coming into Christmas, Beachbody has figured out that's a great time to do a product release, and they've given us, the last several years, we've had, X3 last year. Before that, I think it was Combat. Before that, I think it was Les Mills Pump. Before that, it was P90X2. And they give us these product releases, and the product releases are great. And just a product release drives business. It generates business, and people buy other stuff for Christmas presents and whatnot. So that's another busy time of year that's coming, And so again, if you're sitting there going, wow, I'm starting to run out of leads, this would be what I would ask. Okay, you just do a little self-assessment about where you're at. If you have a lot of leads and the leads aren't taking action, that's probably a function of, again, this collective shift in consciousness towards eating crap. That's probably what it is. It's just they're following suit. They're watching the news, and everybody's dying of Ebola, and there's all this, the sky is falling, so you better get drunk and have some candy. I mean, that's just what's going on right now. And so, we have to sort of just accept that. That's probably what's going on. But if you're really struggling to build leads and consistently build leads, now is such a good time to take a look at what social networks you think are going to work for you. That's up to you. Some people love to film videos. I'm a video person. For me, YouTube is probably my favorite social network because I'm just comfortable on video. I just learned how to do it. I wasn't always that way, but I've learned how to do it. And I've learned how to communicate ideas using my voice and my hands and all the rest of it, my appearance and maybe a whiteboard. So that's, for me, that works really well. There was a time where I had no idea what I was doing on YouTube, and I took a time like this to sit down and say, I have to figure this out. I simply have to figure this out. And right now I got some time to do it. Okay, so I think I've kind of beat this topic up. Okay, there was just a chat about somebody was sending me a message about not being able to hear me. I've kind of beat this topic up, but I really think it's important that you guys understand what's happening. Sometimes there are slow times a year where it's really hard to explain. This one is not. It's very, very simple. It's very, very simple. The people who are on the other side of the coin from us, this is the time of year that they really win. They win big right now. Weather's changing, and it's part of it. It's just part of it. It's that time of year for us where, I go back to the analogy of the farmer. Farmers don't plant seeds right now because they won't grow. They'll just die. They'll just freeze and die, and then they'll have no crop. They wait till the spring and they plant them in the spring. Okay, and then they harvest them in the fall. What I'm telling you is right now is the time for you to plant seeds. And sometimes those seeds are going to be structures. A lot of you guys have coaches on your team. Most of the people who are in that situation were here last week and got to hear, Ryan Chapman and Jamie Hayes Nelson and Mike Ryan and Todd Midget and Lee Radham and myself to a certain extent and Monica talk about leadership and talk about what it's like. Hey, if that's you right now, this is a good time to start doing some of those leadership things that we talked about because you have time, okay? So you need to think about let's play chess, not checkers. What are the pieces I need to be moving now in order to capitalize when things get nuts around Christmas and moving into first and second quarter, all right? So that's really my message. I don't know, what time is it here? I'm just right at 6 o'clock. Tell you what I'm gonna do. I am going to open it up for chat real quick. If anybody has any questions, type in the chat. I'll take a couple of minutes and answer questions because I know my daughter is feverishly working away on a ridiculous amount of homework, and her and I are gonna go and get some food after she's done, but I know she's still working on it. So I got a minute. If you have a question, type it in the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer if I can. Nobody? Going once? Going twice. All right, I'll let it go then. I guess just in conclusion, really, this is a really good time to take stock of where your business is at. Look at the weaknesses. Look at the weaknesses in your business because it's just part of it. It's just part of it, and you've got to be handling that stuff, and you got to be thinking ahead. And then look at what sort of things you really want to create, and then get busy creating them because now's a really good time to do it. Once you've made Success Club this month, I'm going to really tell you, hey, start shifting gears because next month is the beginning of next month can be really tricky as well. It's really hard to close people before Thanksgiving. You guys are going to see this for those of you guys who are new. You start going into Thanksgiving, and if you're scrambling to make Success Club at that point, it's tough. It's tough. So don't leave it till the end. Go, attack that early. Then you can shift gears and you can start working on, whatever the bigger projects are that you feel like you need to work on, new social networks, structures for your people, whatever it may be. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up, and I will talk to you guys next week. Might be doing a webinar next week. We're going to maybe play around with that. Jimmy and I did one last week, and it went really well. So we're going to be contemplating maybe doing another one of those. But I will let you guys know. Have a great week, and I will talk to you next week.